Okay, guys, so this is kind of separate from my normal channel. So if you guys want to watch this, feel free to. If not, it's not really concerning you, but this is a video on PCOS. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but I hear so many complaints that I want to address this topic, and I'm going to try and be sensitive about it. But at the same time, I have PCOS myself, and I started getting into this, talking to some other people, finding out I'm not alone in this struggle with PCOS. Now, PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And what comes with this is you can get cysts on your ovaries, it can do with insulin resistance, and it can cause you to have trouble getting pregnant. So here's what I want to say about this. First of all, if you have PCOS, I am sorry for you, but at the same time, guys, you need to remember, like, you're not dead. It's not going to kill you exactly, and you can even start to work to reverse this. A lot of times, this can be cured. Well, I'm not even going to say cured. It can be helped with diet and some exercise. And now I understand. I've been at a place in my life too where I was really overweight and struggling, and I know what it's like to be there, but at the same time, I could either complain about it or I could do something about it, and I chose to do something about it. And you guys can too. It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to eat lower carb. You can't do some of the things you used to do, but it's going to be worth it, especially if you're complaining. Now, women, I totally get it. The one thing that we've been practicing since you're like 2 years old is learning how to be a mom. Like, it's just natural. A lot of us pick that up. And finding out that you may or may not be pregnant or can't get pregnant is something that's very dear to a lot of women's hearts. But here's the thing is, this is how I look at it, and this is in a way of viewing it that might be more appealing to you guys as well, but I'm just tired of hearing the same thing over and over from people, and then people being shocked at what I have to say. Is, here's the thing. I have decided that I am going to be happy no matter what my life is. With kids, without kids, I make the choice to decide if I'm going to be happy or not. And of course, do I want my own children? I would love to have my own child, just even for the experience of it, everything. But if God doesn't have that in my cards, I know it's because He's got something grander, something special, and something precious set aside just for me. It may involve me never ever having kids, or I might be able to adopt the right kid, and I would never change it for the world. So we don't always know the plan, but things have a way of working themselves out. And you stressing out whether you can get pregnant or not, stressing about your food and the medications and stuff, then you might as well stop now, because stress is going to make all those things worse. It's going to make your hormones worse. It's going to make your diet worse. It's going to make your insulin resistance worse. And it's going to put you in a position where you have no play. You can't do anything. So you need to do that. Yes, of course, I'm 28. I get to see all my friends have had kids or having kids. My cousins are all having second kids now. And everyone asks me all the time, Chantel, when are you going to have kids? Are you going to have kids? And you know, people don't get, well, it's really not that easy. And I could be negative, and so it's brought up to me all the time. And I say, you know what? I would love to have a kid. I don't know if that's in my cards, but, you know, I'm really happy with the way my life is right now. And I choose not to think about it. I'll just put it past. I get out of that conversation if they're trying to tell me, like, oh, but you got to have your own kids. Oh, man, it's nothing like having kids. No, you don't know me. You're happy with your life, but you don't know what makes me happy. And I am fine to have kids or not have kids. And I have decided that I'm going to live in this way. And I also decided that adoption, I can be just as happy with that as I could with having my own kids. The reason I know this is I love my pets without a doubt. They can drive me nuts, especially my dog, but I love them and I wouldn't trade them for the world. They're mine. I wouldn't say, well, I wish I would have gotten a different dog. I'd just trade her out. No, my dog is my dog. I love her. I love my cats. I wouldn't exchange them with any other pet. They are mine and I absolutely love them. I know that I'm going to feel that way about any child that is given to me and in my care if that's what I so choose. But living this defeated life of, oh, I can't have kids, or I'm struggling to have kids, I understand that struggle is real, but you are alive, you are well. A lot of women complaining are 20, maybe 30 years old. You still got a lot of life left to live. And if you're not going to be happy just because you didn't have a kid, well, have fun being bitter for the next 30 years or so, because you've got a lot of life ahead of you. And kids are amazing. I'm not saying that they're not. And I understand that that's some women's dream, is just to have kids. And I believe that God knows that. He knows you and He wants to make you happy. But you also have to remember that God works in His time, not yours. And that's what I try and remind myself, that I have a certain life and that God has a certain plan for me. And if I just let that come to play, I will be happy. And there is even a biblical story about that, which you guys probably know or you don't know. And I think I should actually look that up and share it. But basically, so those of you who don't know it, it's a woman wants to be pregnant and she's supposed to get pregnant into way late years, but she decides she's impatient and she tries to have this pregnancy on her own. So she tells her husband that she should get their maid pregnant, and then she does become with child, and then that woman basically makes threats to keep her. So then the woman decides she's not okay with this anymore, and demanding too much attention from her husband, that she bans the woman from the home. And there's this whole long drawn out story that God had already told her that He was going to give her a child, but God was going to do it on His time, not her time. And they caused all that struggle that they didn't need to go through had she just decided to have faith and believe that everything was going to work out just the way it needed to. I know that's easier said than done, but the truth is, guys, worrying doesn't get you any closer to it. And so I'll have to stop my brain. Sometimes I will be like, oh man, that baby's so cute, I wish I were a mom. And I'd be like, nope, we're not going there. You know what? You get to play volleyball. You're healthy. You get to go out when you want to. You get to sleep in whenever you want to. Think about changing all those diapers. Thinking about going through those terrible twos. Think about your house and all this other stuff. Think about, all the time that you get to have to just lounge around. Think of all the time you get to go on dates with Corbin, all the extra money you don't have to spend. And I keep myself purposely focused on those things rather than I wish I could have a baby. Why can't I have a baby? Oh, I want to be a mom so bad. God, because then every day all you're doing is looking at that one thing versus going through each month and I'll be like, oh wow, another month has gone by already. Rather than come on, waiting for my period, waiting to see if anything happened, or living each day tracking every little thing. When in the end, I don't know that it's really going to get you closer to your goal. I hope this helps you guys. I really hear a lot of these problems, and I just wanted to tell you guys, you are more than just a mom. And I know that's what a lot of you guys want, and I totally understand that. I'm in the same boat as you guys are, but I want you to know that you are so much more, and there's so much more that you were put here on this earth to do than to just mother and bear children, that you are amazing and beautiful and talented already, and just relax a little bit and just let things happen.